walking down the road and see a falling star, and you make a wish. Ooh, just remember, luck is no such thing. One man succeeds while another man fails. Why is it then you ask the star up above?
Coming to you live from Harlem, New York City, you're watching Astrology Numerology now in its 14th season, or 14 years, on Manhattan Neighborhood Network Television. I'm your host, you already know. This is Z Starman, professional astrologer, numerologist. And every week on the show, we give you the latest astrology news and information. We've been doing it since 2014, before there was Facebook, before there was Twitter, Instagram. Astrology Numerology Now on Manhattan Neighborhood Network was the place to get the latest, or still is the place to get the latest astrology, numerology, news, and information. Regardless of what religion you are, astrology is religion-free, or it's free will. I have friends and viewers and clients from all walks of life and lifestyle who just love astrology and numerology and how it relates to them. We're going to get off to talking about what's happening right now. And what is happening right now is that it's Taurus season. The sun is in the sign of Taurus. It has been since April 19th, and it's going to be there until May 20th at 9:22 p.m. Taurus is the sign of money, love, attraction, material wealth. I want to say happy birthday to all the Taurus people who are watching the show, and happy belated birthday. My mother is a Taurus, heavenly birthday, May 3rd. Two sisters, Anna and Vanessa, my brother Vincent, all are Taurian people. And Taurian people love money. They love money, they like having it around them, and they love making money. Taurus is the sign of love because they're ruled by the planet Venus. You should always watch what Venus is doing in your astrology chart. If you have a Taurus sun sign, or if you have a Taurus rising sign. Your rising sign is the impression or energy that you give out to people before they know your true sun sign or what your birthday is. It's a lot of activity happening in the sign of Taurus. And again, Taurus is about money. It's about possessions. We've seen over the last couple of months, even the last year, how money and how people spend money during this so-called post-pandemic. It's still a pandemic. You know, my belief is there's still a pandemic until it's officially over. It's over, but it's still a pandemic. And it has changed. Again, this is Taurus season until May 22nd. How money has changed. We've seen about the last 5 days in a row, we've had triple-digit losses on the stock market. And that's an indication of how money is being spent. Everything is going up. Gas prices are at an all-time high. The Federal Reserve, who gives interest rates on loans and mortgages, they've increased their rate to keep people from stop spending. Spending is out of control. Prices, inflation are out of control. And all this is the benefit of the planet Uranus, because Uranus is about sudden changes, and prices are going to start to look crazy and stupid and change. People are losing money. Netflix is losing money. And that's what Taurus season is all about. It's about how money is spent and managed. And on a personal note, how people are loving and giving back to love, because Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus. So be mindful of Taurus season. It lasts until May 22nd at 9:22 p.m. when Gemini season starts. And we're going to talk about more about that later on the show. But the big astrological news And for those of you who watched the show since 2014 or since 2008 for the last 14 years, you all know what a Mercury retrograde is by now. Mercury, and I'm pretty sure if you don't know anything about astrology, you've heard the term Mercury retrograde from your woke friends and your vegan friends and some people who just are in the know. Again, this show's been on for 14 years, and I've explained Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is about 3 times a year. So 14 times 3. And even 14 times 3, what's that? That's 42 years. So I've talked about Mercury retrograde for at least 42 times in the last 14 years on this show. And every Mercury retrograde is different. So I'm going to start out by explaining to people exactly what a Mercury retrograde is. And Mercury, remember these dates, Mercury is in retrograde from May 10th in the sign, starting off in the sign of Gemini, and it's going to fall back into the sign of Taurus on May 22nd. So this is a 2-part retrograde. It's in the sign of Taurus and it's in the sign of Gemini. And exactly what a Mercury retrograde is, in case you don't know what it is, Mercury, of course, is a planet. Mercury is the planet of information and communication. And if we were to look at Mercury at nighttime against the backdrop of the stars, Mercury would appear to be orbiting backwards. Looks like it's moving backwards. Why is that? Because planets move and rotate at different speeds. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, let's say most New Yorkers ride the subway or used to ride the subway before the pandemic. But if you're on the express train, let's say you're in Brooklyn, you're on the express train, the A Express, and it passes the C local. Even though both trains are moving forward, the local train appears to be moving backwards. So that's what a Mercury retrograde is. Basically, it's an optical illusion. Some of the things you'll hear and see from now until June 3rd, you can't believe it. You can't believe a person said this. You can't believe they wrote this. That's the significance of a Mercury retrograde. Things that can go wrong will go wrong. Let's say if you don't live in a major city like New York City and you live in a city that doesn't have a subway. Here's another example of Mercury retrograde. When you're in a faster moving car that passes a slower moving car in the same direction you're going, that slower moving car looks like it's moving backwards. So be mindful of what exactly a Mercury retrograde is, or any retrograde is. It's an optical illusion. And when we get these optical illusions, Murphy's Law is in effect. What can go wrong will go wrong. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're from. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, gay, straight, LGBTQ, or whatever. We're all under the influence of Mercury retrograde. And again, this effect is going to last until June 3rd. What are some of the do's and don'ts? Anything, Murphy's Law is in effect. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And again, this retrograde is in the sign of Gemini, the sign of information and communication, and the sign of Taurus that deals with money. We just got through talking about Taurus. Be careful how you spend your money. Back up your computer files, because Mercury is about communication and information. Try not to be careless. A lot of people will blame stuff. Oh, Mercury retrograde did this. No, it's because this is an optical illusion, and you have to be mindful of your people, places, and things during your surrounding. Excuse me, but Mercury retrograde, although it goes direct on June 3rd, it's not going to be officially over with until June 18th. So we got another 2 months of handling our business and going back and visiting people, places, and things that need to be paid attention to, especially when it deals with money and finances. And I hope my Taurus friends and Gemini friends proceed with caution. Everybody proceed with caution. Watch your back during this Mercury retrograde. that's coming up. From May 10th to June the 3rd, we have Mercury in retrograde. Up next, since the name of the show is called Astrology Numerology now, we talk about numbers. That's the numerology part. And for May 2022, we're in a number 11 universal year. We're all under the influence of numbers, from our social security numbers to our birthdays, to where we work and live at, our addresses, other people's birthday, our spouse's birthday. So we have to pay attention to numbers. People are always asking me about lucky numbers. Well, lucky number for this month, May 22 or 2022, is the number 11. Why are we in a number 11 universal year? How do we get that number, Z Star Man? Every number has a vibration to it, from 1 to 9. Then we have the master numbers 11, 22, and 33. Now, May 2022, again, is a number 11 universal month. Vibrate in higher frequency. How do we get that number 11? 5 plus 5 is for May, and we're going to add 2022. And to make it fast for you, 2022 is a 6. It's a 6 universal year, a year of health, wellness, and servitude to other people. The only way this planet is going to get well again is we give back and serve and focus on our health and wellness in a number 6 universal year. But we're in a number 11 universal month. So again, May is the 5th month. 2006 is the number 6. Or 2022 is the number 6 universal year. 5 plus 6 equals 11. And again, the master numbers are 11, 22, and 33. So this is a month, the month of May, a number 11 universal month, is that we all vibrate on a higher frequency. It favors people who are born on the 11th or the 29th, because 2 plus 9 equals 11. And if you live on 92nd Street or 29th Street, or where you live or work or play or go to work is at a number 11, that address or building number totals the number 11. Don't be afraid to ask your boss for a raise if you live in one of those buildings. Wait until towards the end of the month. This is Z Starman, professional astrologer, numerologist. You are watching Astrology Numerology now. We're talking about the May 2022 astrology numerology highlights. Again, this show has been on the air. It's not a normally Zoom show. We're in an actual TV studio, and we'll be in a TV studio again, I would say, before summer gets here. And you'll be able to call the show and talk to me on the air about astrology and numerology. But since we can't do all that right now, I want you to call me after you finish watching this, no matter where you are. If you have any questions about astrology and numerology, this is how you contact me. My contact number is 917-473-2211. It's that easy. 917-473-2211. If you want to talk astrology with me, or get a reading with me, or talk anything about astrology and numerology, especially how it relates to you, give me a call after the show. You can find me on all the social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Z Starman. Now, what else do we have going on? We're halfway through the show. Thank you for keeping it where it is and learning a little bit about astrology and numerology. But what we have to talk about right now, it affects all the fire signs, especially Aries people, Sagittarius, and Leo people. The planet Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance, is now in the sign of Aries. It has been in the sign of Aries since May 10th, and it's going to be in Aries until October 28th. What does this mean? Why should I care about Jupiter and Aries? If you're Aries or Sagittarius or Leo, Jupiter is the planet of luck and abundance and expansion. Every planet in astrology has a job to do. Jupiter's job is luck and abundance and bringing insight, putting the spotlight on all things for now are under the sign of Aries. Aries is about the personal self. It's about the inner self. It's about what we do to and for ourselves. So a lot of Aries people, which is a fire sign, along with Sagittarius people and Leo people will have an expansion to grow and expand in their personal life, especially in their personal life, because Aries is such a me. It's all about me sign that they have to focus on really getting themselves together, getting their life together. It's a great time of the year, or will be for the next year or so, with Jupiter in the sign of Aries. Jupiter is going to be in Aries until October 28th, but it's going to be retrograde. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius and in old school astrology, Pisces. So from July 28th to about November 23rd, Jupiter is going to be retrograde. So with Jupiter people, Jupiter rule people like Sagittarius, like also Pisces. Now is the really time to get your stuff together before the summer gets here and Jupiter goes retrograde for about 4 or 5 months out of the year. But now this is the perfect opportunity for Aries people, because Jupiter will be in your sign until the 28th of October. And it's also going to retrograde back in the sign of Pisces. So a lot of you Pisces people will have some last minute chances to sort of kind of fix your life between October 28th and December 20th, when Jupiter comes back into the sign, into the sign of Pisces. Or Jupiter is in the sign of Pisces from October 28th to the 20th, and it comes back to Aries for good from December 20th, 2022 to May 16, 2023. And by the way, we're in a wartime situation. Aries is about military and fighting and contesting. And World War I and II started when Jupiter was in the sign of Aries. So hopefully this thing in Ukraine doesn't get international. It's already international, but hopefully it doesn't get bigger than what it is. But with Putin, and we did a astrology show on Putin, he's a Libra and Moon and Gemini and Scorpio rising. He fights to the death until he gets what he wants. Now, some other good news for Aries people is that Venus, the planet of love and money, we got a combination of Jupiter and Aries. Now Venus is in Aries. Venus is in Aries, or will be in Aries from May 2nd to May 28th. So all the fire signs are going to benefit from this. But most importantly, the Aries, Jupiter's in Aries, and Venus, the planet of love and money and excitement and just an overall good feeling, is going to be in Aries from May 2nd to May 28th, 2022. So Aries people, this is a really good field time part of the year for you, along with Sagittarius and Leo. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging to you Cancer people, where your jobs and your career is concerned. And it's also going to be challenging to Capricorn people, because this transit is moving through your 4th house, your house of family, and your home life is going to be tested. Now, we got another thing coming up, and I don't know when you guys will see most of this, but we have a total blood red lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio from Sunday, May 15th, starting at 9:30 in the afternoon or in the evening. This solar eclipse starts on May 15th at 9:30 at night, Eastern Daylight Time, and it's going to last to about 2:50 a.m. So it's a 6-hour event. And eclipses are important. Weather permitting, you'll be able to see it at when it's at its totality, or when the moon is, when the earth is directly in front of the light of the sun and the moon. We're gonna see like this orange circle, this orange spot that's gonna block out the light of moon. And hopefully weather permitting, now I hear already in New York City, it's supposed to be cloudy and raining. So if it's not cloudy and raining and you're anywhere in North America, you'll be able to see this. One thing about eclipses are very spiritual moments for us to either plug into and vibrate at a higher frequency. You'll hear me say it a lot, because that's what we as earthlings have to learn how to do in this world, and that's vibrate at a higher frequency. And during an eclipse, and again, even if it's cloudy or raining, even though you may not be able to see it, it's still in effect. It's still happening. I grew up with Southern parents, and whenever lightning and thunder happened, and my mother made us turn off the TV, the radio, and her favorite thing was God is talking. God and the archangels and the angels will be talking during this lunar eclipse happening in the sign of Scorpio. I want all my Scorpio and Taurus people to pay attention. I want my Libra and Pisces people to pay attention, and definitely my Sagittarius people to start to pay attention on this lunar eclipse. Turn off the TV, turn off the radio. Be careful of your surroundings. Anything that you put out into the universe is going to manifest itself for the next 2 weeks during a lunar eclipse. And again, this starts Sunday night, May 15 at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Check your local times and see when it starts in your area, until about 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Be mindful of your surroundings on that day. I can't stress it enough. Now, we have a couple of minutes left in the show. Let's talk about my favorite time of the year. And my favorite time of the year is Gemini season. I want to say happy birthday to all the Geminis who are watching the show right now, as we get ready to sort of kind of begin the end of May and the summer season. Gemini season begins on May 20th, 2022 at 9:22 p.m. And it's going to end on June 21st, 2022 at 5:13 a.m. in the morning. It's Gemini season. It's about getting out, meeting, talking, and communicating with people. That's what the sign of Gemini is about. It's about information. My birthday is in the sign of Gemini, or my sun's sign is Gemini. My birthday is June 10th. So if you want to say happy birthday to me or send me anything, I'll take anything at this point. Here's all the information, but here's my social media tag. You can reach me at ZStarman on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but I want to say happy birthday to all the Geminis. And dealing with a Gemini, you have to know one thing about us as dealing with Geminis. Again, my birthday is June 10th. I'm a Gemini with Moon Aquarius and Gemini rising. Where every Gemini, there's more than one person. There's more than one person. I think I'm 4 people, but with Gemini, it's multiple personalities. And we have to sort of kind of watch ourselves as we start Gemini season, because our planetary ruler, Mercury, will be in retrograde. I can't stress this enough, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is to pay attention during Gemini season, because while it's retrograde, Murphy's Law is in effect. What can go wrong will go wrong. Again, a retrograde is an optical illusion. What you see is really maybe not happening. What you're hearing is maybe really not happening. So don't jump to conclusions. But just to say once again, happy birthday to all my Geminis and fellow Geminis. Let's get this Gemini party started on May 20th. What do we have up next? We got a few minutes left in the show. One thing we have to be mindful of. See, one thing about astrology is I get people ready for, just like you hear the weather report, what's happening outside. That's what astrology is about. It's about what's happening outside, what's happening around me, what's the astrological weather. And one astrological event that we have to be mindful of is between two planets, Venus in the sign of Aries and Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. We're going to have a Venus square Pluto event that day. I want all my Capricorn, especially if you have planets in the latter part of the zodiac of Capricorn and Aries, be mindful, be careful. Don't get yourself stressed out or anything like that. And we got some other stuff going on. We have a new moon in the sign of Gemini. That's when the sun and the moon come together in the same sign of the zodiac. In the Farmer's Almanac, we see that darkened circle when we're looking at transits of the moon or phases of the moon. That's what a new moon is. New moon in the sign of Gemini, about communication, information, and just talking to people. Call somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. But also be mindful, Mercury is in retrograde. That's about all the time that we have for astrology, numerology. Now, if you missed any part of this show, you can go to our Facebook page, Astrology Numerology Now. I'd like to thank my producer, director, Dietrich Kelsey, for making Astrology Numerology Now happen, and you, the viewers, for watching. This has been Z Starman, wishing everybody out there a safe Mercury retrograde. Peace and love, peace, love, and life. Namaste.
And it's a lie. Who controls your very soul? Ask them why. You is so sound and practical. Yet Gemini, so inconsistent. Ooh, let me tell you a secret I know.